Well, good morning, everyone. This is day one of another camp out for me, and it's time to make some breakfast. So we're going to check out together the Weber Traveler travel grill. So this episode's going to be less about the breakfast and more about the grill. I have this half converted to a griddle, and the other half is the normal grill. This has also been converted to onboard propane, and we're just going to go through a quick how I set this up, how I've been liking it over the last 2 years, how it's been holding up, performance, some of the Achilles heel, and we're gonna see if this is something that perhaps you would like or not. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some stuff rearranged and, well, let's get reviewing, or cooking, or I don't know. Come on guys, let's go. Alright, so I had some pretty poor camera angles in the Crusader Kitchen episode where we converted this over to the onboard propane. I was absolutely freezing. I'm sorry guys. So I thought I'd take, while we got a little bit of nicer weather, to show you what we've done here. So this here tube is into the fire pot, or the burner, I'm sorry. And then this is what goes up to the dial, okay? And right here, see where this yellow is? That is where I removed the regulator. And then I needed this fitting and this fitting connected to the hose. That is incorrect. It's actually this one and this one. And that is how I converted this to Quick Connect, which I have at the camper. Down right there. So with that being said, let's get this set up. So I don't know if you can see it in that camera angle, but this sight slopes down quite a bit. All right, so this is the first kind of downfall of this grill. It's got a nice set of wheels. They're a little dirty. This folds down for easy storage if you're taking this in like a trunk of a car or something. But there's no onboard adjustment for it. It doesn't have any feet that you can screw out or adjustments. So we're stuck using leveling blocks. So let's go ahead and slide this over there and see about getting it as level as possible. All right, so here we are. And all you're gonna do is lay it down. There's this little safety that you pull out and over, and there's a red handle down here. And it automatically locks in place, but you can see we've got some slopage here. So I got some camping leveling blocks, and let's see here. There's one. There's two and one. And I think we're gonna need 3 and 2. Let me grab one more. I just grabbed the rest of the bag. And 2. I like it. I think that's pretty good. What do you guys think? Level? Cool. All right. So this next part is what I was really looking for. So if you guys are watching this, it's likely that you're probably a camper like me. And especially for weekend trips, take as little stuff as you can. And always having the 1 pound propane tank or the 20 pound propane tank with the converter. It's just one more thing I opted to leave at home. That's why I did this. So we just kind of uncoil this. And in here, see if I can do this one-handed. There we go. And then here, that's the off. Switch it to on. And Try to make this so the dog doesn't get into it. And here we go. So you can see it's all set up. It's got this nice table there. It does have a self-igniter. Let's go ahead and get it fired up. I go to high. And sometimes it takes one or two. We on? There we go. So we are preheating. Let's go ahead and talk about some of my experiences with this grill over the last 2 years. All right, so first off, I want to talk about this griddle conversion. So I normally travel alone, and this is a relatively small griddle. See, that's the size of my hand. I got decent sized paws, but this is not a very big griddle if you're traveling with a family or if you're cooking for a lot of people. The way that I bought the grill is it's 2 of these. And these are very nice. They have a cast iron kind of inset that safety guards the flame from going up and charring your stuff. So in my eyes, this was kind of the best of both worlds. However, I got this skillet, or this griddle, I'm sorry, before Weber released their conversion for it. So this is some off-brand, third name, Amazon griddle. So the first question I want to address is the off-brand as good as the Weber brand? No. I don't have the Weber brand for this grill, but I do have a Weber griddle conversion for my Spirit series at home. I was very impressed with that product. This has been re-seasoned. I have sanded it a little bit. It was very much not non-stick. In fact, it was pro stick when I got it. It's working pretty good now, so I'm not going to replace it. That's okay. The second question I want to address is, can you put 2 griddle conversions on the Weber Traveler? The answer is no. You will lose your fire. So as you can see, there is no vents on the bottom side here. It would be drawing all of its air through the grease hole, and that is not enough, according to Weber, to keep the fire lit. And I tend to believe it because this thing actually has a warranty worth buying this product. I think that speaks volumes. That's my 2 cents. You take that as you will. So for me, this is neat. I do a lot of my breakfasts on my own. I do a lot of my cooking for friends and family on other devices where I can cook a bigger food. But for me, this is a good size for breakfast for me, maybe one other person. You know, push come to shove, you change your bacon out for sausage patties and you grill them instead of griddle them. And yeah. So let's go ahead, let's get some food and some tools, and I'm just going to cook a quick breakfast. Like I said, this isn't going to be about the breakfast so much as the grill. I do love this thing. There's one more kind of Achilles heel I want to talk to you about so that you're well informed if you're trying to make this purchase for the griddle or the grill. So give me a few minutes and I'll be right back. Alright, so a couple of other things to note about this grill. It is a single burner, so it does not have 2 zones. It's not adjustable. It's one temperature fits all. So right now at high, this is reading 440 degrees. That's pretty hot, but this griddle's gonna really suck all the temperature into the food real quick and cool down. So I'm gonna leave it on high because a lot of griddling, you leave the lid open. So I would consider this to be preheated. Now, sometimes when you're griddling, it gets really cold and you cook slow on this grill. So before you ask, well, you got rid of the regulator. Is the regulator on your camper a lower flow than the Weber product that I removed? I'm gonna go with no, because I have about the same results. Also, I probably busted my warranty by doing that, so do that at your own risk. Alright, so now that I'm home, I wanted to address something real quick. So this is my Weber Traveler. It is part number 9010001, and I bought this in November of 2021. And so I wanted to come here and show you. Here is the Weber Griddle. It's $99.99. I'm not even going to share with you the one that I purchased. I don't recommend it. This is part number 7034. But I wanted to share this with you real quick. So I converted mine to work with the RV. Look what they have. They have an RV model. So if you're in the process of shopping for one of these, for $29 more, for $30 more, you don't have to go through that the same as I did. And check this out. They have a tabletop 22-inch griddle and a 17-inch tabletop griddle. They have a compact traveler size now. And this is why I'm a little bummed, because I'd have bought this in a heartbeat. They have a stealth edition that's all black. That would match my car and my truck and all of my t-shirts. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Now let's get back to the regularly scheduled program. I'm just being honest with you, but let's go ahead and get some breakfast going. So I'm going to, real quick, I want to share with you something I hope you can see here. You see how it's smoking here? This is a hot spot. So the burner is circular. So for the griddle's perspective, this is cooler and this is cooler than this right here. But because this kind of loops around, right here is my hot spot. So I don't know if you can see that shimmering. Yep. And actually, I got this pretty leveled. That's awesome. I have a bad habit of forgetting to do this. So it has integrated grease holes. They drip down the sides and avoid the burner so you don't get flare-ups. Like I said earlier, this uses the same inserts as your Spirit series. That fascinates me. I like that. Move my eggs over here. So I'm going to start my potatoes. Ouch, kabibbles. On the kind of cooler side. It's still a hot grill. I'm not, when I say cold spot, I don't mean like cold. And I'm just going to go ahead and get a little more oil in there. And I'm using extra virgin olive oil because that's what I keep in the camper. And the steak seasoning we used on the last episode of the Crusader Kitchen makes for wonderful home fries. You got to try that. Clear up some space here. And we're just going to get that seasoning nice and mixed in. See, we're pointed, see our oil pooling up here? We're pointed that way a little bit, but because it's staying in the middle, we're pretty dang perfect this way. So I'm a big fan of that. And I'm just gonna leave this in the cool zone for a couple of minutes. We're gonna let it get nice and soft, and then we're going to move it onto the hot spot, and that's gonna give it a nice texture. I'm gonna start the bacon. We'll pull off the potatoes before the bacon's complete. Fry up a couple of eggs. Boom, breakfast on the Weber Traveler 50/50 Griddle. Well, there we have it. I got a nice little breakfast, all on the Weber Traveler. So what do I really think of my Weber Traveler half griddle, half grill? I love it. Here's my recommendation for you though. If you have a family, or you're cooking for a lot of people, maybe leave it as a grill, okay? Or keep both inserts with you when you travel. I've only had one issue with it. The original regulator that came with it did go out on me. I called Weber. They helped me diagnose it. I was correct. It was a bad regulator. I gave them the purchase date and the serial number. And I had a new one with detailed instructions on how to swap it out within a couple of days. I was very impressed. So if you want a whole griddle, maybe search for a whole griddle. If you want one person grill, perfect. If you want a family grill, this is your ticket. Guys, I thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Listen, if you have any questions about this, go ahead and pop them down in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer them. Until next week, be well.